Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Kim Lucy. I am the Director of Business Development with Viking Cruises. And I think Cindy's joining us here. I just see her signing in. So I know that there's a few more people joining, and we'll just take a couple of minutes. But if you have any questions, please feel free to type them into the question box. And I'll keep an eye on those, but I think we'll come back and answer them at the end. I think Cindy can see them as well, so she may be able to answer any questions you have as we're going along. But in the meantime, I will try and address as many as I can see, and I will also answer at the end of the presentation. So we'll just give it a couple more minutes as people sign in. I'm going to turn it back to you, Cindy.
Thank you. I just want to talk a little bit about river cruising and my personal experience and how I'd like to let you all really engage tonight on what river cruising really is. River cruising is one of my favorite things to do. There's just so much to see in the world that you're unaware of. The cuisine, we love it. We actually started doing theme nights here during COVID, and we really reflect back on river cruising and how the culinary is so important on river cruising. Not only seeing how the small towns live, but it's also the culinary, which is the biggest experience too, we find. So I really am happy to see you all here. And I know that river cruising is definitely the way it's going to happen moving forward, seeing Europe, Asia, anywhere, but I'm really excited, Kim, to see your presentation with Viking. My clients love Viking, and they continue to do that. So I'm really happy that you took your time to do this tonight.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. I'm very passionate about river cruising. And so it's always a treat for me to talk to people who are equally enthusiastic. So I really do appreciate the opportunity. Shall we get started? We've got—
Yeah, why not? Let's show the world.
Great. Well, yeah. I also wanted to let you know that I uploaded a mini brochure for you. So any of you that are interested in looking at current pricing or some of the itineraries, if you go to the handout section, it's a PDF and you can just download it directly. Because I know we're not doing mailings right now. I know Cindy doesn't have any brochures in her office, and neither do her associates. So I thought that would be the best way to handle it. So please feel free to download that PDF. And if you've got any questions along the way, please just type them into the question box, and I will either answer them as I see them, or I will answer them at the end. So let's get started. Let's take a look at what river cruising is all about.
Awesome. Thank you, Kim.
All right, let's go. So welcome, everybody. As I mentioned earlier at the beginning, my name is Kim Lucy, and I'm the Director of Business Development for Viking Cruises. I've been in the industry for over 30 years. I started as in the ocean cruise business when ocean ships were small. And about 12 years ago, I joined Viking, and it's just been an amazing experience. It's a great company to work for, and it's been really fun to watch the growth of river cruising over these past 12 years. So I wanted to just start with just for some of you who may or may not have been river cruisers in the past, or maybe you've never tried one, maybe just thinking about it. What I would do is go through why river cruising, one of the things that really makes me excited about it. So let's just take a look. One of the things that I love the most is the size of the ships. When I was working for a big ocean cruise company, I started when ships were small. And as they grew, they became less and less exciting because I'm not a big fan of traveling with large groups of people. And I think we're all a little bit conscious of that right now. The river ships they range, depending on where we sail, from about 40 guests to 190 guests on our European river ships. And what I love about that is that it's so easy to get to know our fellow passengers. It's easy to get on and off the ships. As you can see, it's a beautiful environment. And it really kind of took me back in time to what cruising was when I started, where you really did have that immediacy in the destination. I also love the fact that I don't have to pack and unpack every day. This is the first year that I haven't been on the road traveling, and I can't say that I miss the packing and unpacking part of it. And I know for many of you that have maybe been on a coach tour, or maybe you've been on a road trip, you know how tiring it is at the end of the day to have to try and find a place to sleep. And then on the next morning, you have to get up early and you have to pack everything up and you have to get off on your next trip, whether it's on a coach or in a car. So it's nice to be able to relax, to unpack your bags and be able to just relax and enjoy the beautiful scenery as we sail by. The other thing I love is that it's leisurely and casual. So no jackets and ties, no ball gowns, no cocktail dresses, no tuxedos. And also it means that you can reduce the number of bags that you have to take. And ladies, that usually means we can leave a few pairs of shoes behind. I know my husband's always happy when that happens. So we also don't travel at high speeds. We travel at a leisurely pace. So you really can enjoy the experience. And you get to look at this beautifully changing scenery. This is a picture of our ships as they're sailing along the middle line. You can see the beautiful castles. You'll see these castles. You'll see the vineyards, the little medieval towns as we sail along the river, and you'll be able to really drink that in. In France, we sail through lavender fields and fields of poppies and vineyards. It's constantly changing scenery, and that's something, if you've been on an ocean cruise, you may not see, because we often come in early in the morning and we sail later at night, or often when you're getting changed for dinner, and you may not catch that in and out. With river cruising, that destination is wrapped around you all the time. The other thing is that the rivers are flat. So if I've got guests in the audience right now that may not have cruised before, maybe you're a little reluctant. I know that Winnipeg's in the middle of the prairies, and other than the lakes around you, don't have big open oceans. And for a lot of people, that makes them nervous and worried about that motion. That's why I love river cruising, because it's a perfect place to start your cruise experience. The rivers are flat. You don't have to worry about that motion on the ocean. You can just relax and sit back and enjoy. I always find that when we're traveling at night with our hybrid engines on our ships that have reduced vibration, I can't tell if we're moving unless I can see the lights moving along the river. Now, we do have to, on rivers, be aware that water levels do fluctuate. They can range from centimeters to feet. And one of the advantage Viking has as a larger operator is that we have identical ships sailing in opposite directions. And it's very easy for us to do a ship swap when we run into an obstacle like that along the rivers. So we are equipped for that, and it does make things a lot simpler. The other thing I love is that we dock in the heart of the city. The rivers of Europe have been the highways for centuries. It's how people have moved around. It's how they've met, they've married, they've traded with each other. And the towns and the cities have grown up from the river's edge outward. So when you come in by river ship, we dock right in the heart of the old city in most places. So when you step off, you literally do walk across the street, and everything's at your fingertips. So I always say it's a bit like staying in the best little boutique hotel in the central square. When you step outside your hotel, you've got the restaurants, the cafes, all the sights you want to see, the little boutiques, and you come back to your warm, cozy, beautiful accommodation at the end where people are waiting to invite you. So these are some of the wonderful things that you can do. The other thing I like is that it's virtually all inclusive. So you don't have to have that. I always say, I always hate that last day on my ocean cruise when I open the door and they post the ransom note on it. I don't know if you guys have had that experience. I know that I appreciate that you don't have to take your wallet out on a river cruise. We include virtually everything, and but not everything, because we know that we don't want to charge people for things they don't use. So we do tend at Viking to cater to the majority as opposed to the smaller minority. And so we don't charge people for things that they don't use, but we do include almost everything. So I'll explain to you what that includes, and just makes it a little bit easier. So I wanted to talk about what makes Viking different, but before I get started, I wanted to share where we travel, because the world of Viking is very vast. We have a huge fleet of river ships as well as ocean ships. We are going to be launching our first expedition ships at the beginning of 2022. And we also are going to be traveling in North America with Mississippi ships. So right now we do offer the world to you. So when you start with us, you can stay with us. We travel to 7 continents, 95 countries. We sail on 5 oceans. We travel along 20 rivers in the world. And if you're a port collector, we also visit 403 ports of call and 5 Great Lakes. I don't know about you guys, but I have a bucket list that's really backed up right now because I haven't been able to go anywhere. And maybe you're like me, maybe your bucket list is getting longer and longer. Well, we can help you take care of that. What makes river cruising so special? So Viking, as I mentioned, we've been in the business since 1997. So that's almost 24 years. We started in Russia with 4 ships. And that was just when things were starting to change in Russia. The gentleman who owns our company, we're owned by one person. We have 2 investors, and you'll be interested to know that one of them is the Canadian Pension Plan. So you're contributing to your retirement if you're sailing with Viking. But the owner of our company, Mr. Tornhagen, has been in the industry for a really long time. He actually was one of the owners of one of the first luxury ocean cruise companies that used to sail around the world called Royal Viking Line. In the early 90s, he and his partners sold that company. And in the mid 90s, he saw an opportunity as communism was starting to relax, the walls were starting to come down, and he purchased 4 ships in Russia. And that's where we started. And from there, we expanded into Europe. We now have a fleet of 74 river ships that sail around the world. 64 of them are brand new river ships that have been sailing on the rivers of Europe. Most of them are no older than about 5 years old. So we've created these beautiful, elegant ships. But we've also, since 2015, added some ocean ships to our fleet. We currently have 7 ocean ships, with an 8th joining our fleet this year. And we have 2 more under construction that will be joining our fleet, making that up to 10 by the end of 2023. We also are launching some innovation, some expedition, as I mentioned, a Mississippi ship. So with all of those, we do sail into the heart of the destination. They're all small, which allows us that access. We also have green technology on all of our ships. So those of you who are concerned about the environment, we are too. And we've got solar panels, we've got hybrid engines, we've got reduced carbon emissions. All of that contributes to a reduced carbon footprint and less fuel. And we actually are undergoing some certification right now that will allow us to tell you just how environmentally friendly we are. We have also added in a lot of the key things that make a hotel comfortable, all the beautiful amenities that you would normally find. Now, when I was looking at some of the questions that had come in, a lot of you were asking me about health and safety protocols. And you know what? I understand that. I know that people are concerned. I know there's been a lot of bad publicity about cruising in the media. And unfortunately, a lot of it isn't true. It's got, unfortunately, quite a biased view of it. But the cruise lines have really, really done a lot of work to start to overcome some of those beliefs. And I wanted to tell you a little bit about what we're doing. Viking is really gone above and beyond. The CDC puts out regulations, and we're working with each of the individual countries to know what their requirements are so we can meet and exceed those. So on our ocean ships, we have built PCR labs that will be testing guests and our crew every single day. We've installed infrared cameras on our river and our ocean ships so that temperatures can be taken in a non-invasive way. We will be doing PCR testing for all of our guests and crew on the river ships as well. We're working with the local labs that will be able to turn these tests around in about 4 hours. So it won't inconvenience our guests. This is a saliva test, so it's going to be simple and non-invasive. We've also installed air purification systems, 3-stage purification systems in all of our ships, and we've always had individual air systems. And the beauty of Viking is that our ships are small and they always have had a lot more space per passenger. So the adjustments that we have to make are relatively small because a lot of what we were already doing already fits a lot of the regulations that are there. So we will be working with suppliers in ports that will adhere to the same standards that we do. We will be doing all the testing that's required for that. We will be doing additional cleaning. We've got additional staff on board. and we'll be doing regular health checks. So you can rest assured that when you travel with us, you will be, we will actually, when I look at some of the things that we're doing on board our ships, it's maybe safer than it is going to the grocery store right now. But we will continue to listen and to make the changes that are required and necessary to keep our passengers safe. And one thing I want to say also is that our crew is on board right now. They're on board our ships, all of our ships, and they are busy learning and practicing all these health and safety protocols, and they are ready to welcome our guests back. So as soon as we can sail, we're ready to welcome you onto all of our ships. So let's dig a little deeper. One of the things that you can experience on Viking, and maybe you want to do this when you travel, is to try out the local cuisine. So we do have destination-focused dining. We have a regular changing menu that includes a meat dish, a fish dish, and a vegetarian dish, and lots of fresh vegetables. We are farm to table, so you can actually go in some ports of call shopping with our chef, and you'll see some of the things that he's going to present to you on the daily menu. In addition to that, we do a focused destination menu each day. So it'll focus on the countries that we're in and some of the specialties that might be from that area. And we also have what I call comfort food, always available: steak, Caesar salad, chicken, and salmon. So guests are able to, if you don't like the sour braten on the menu, maybe you prefer to have a piece of salmon or a steak and potatoes, you can do that as well. We also do some taste of events, which gives you a chance to try maybe some of the local street food or some of the other small snacky specialties that you might not try when you're out on your own. So we do that, and we introduce you to some of the food and the music of the area on a really nice evening where you can mix and mingle with some of your newfound friends. And honestly, river cruising is all about the cultural enrichment. It's about immersing yourself in the destination. I always say you want to touch and taste and feel and experience that destination to the fullest. You want to walk in the cobblestone streets. You want to go into the bakeries and smell the bread and the pastry and the chocolates all being created. And that is what makes river cruising so wonderful. We do tour in small groups, and those groups will be a little bit smaller even as we go forward because of the regulations. We'll be reducing the sizes. Normally we do a group that's between 10 and 30 people, depending on where we are and how far we have to go and whether there are coaches involved. Our coaches will be reduced in capacity, and our groups will be reduced to smaller groups. We always have been able to do social distancing because our groups travel with an audio box system, which is a wireless connection to the guide. So that's not changing. And so you'll be able to walk at a safe distance from the guide and still hear everything that they're saying. So I think we're already prepared and have been in a way prepared for these types of regulations. Now, our cultural curriculum does introduce you to a variety of things both on board and ashore. So we do bring on local entertainers and musicians and dancers so you can experience some of the local music and cultural events. We take you to concerts and other cultural events if we can in the places that we visit. We have destination movies, we have cooking demonstrations on board, so you can go home with some recipes and you can share your dining down the Danube if you like when you get home. Or as Cindy was saying, she's doing some focused dining while they've been locked down as well, which is a great idea. And we also in some places visit schools. We do a lot of community interaction and support in some of the places we visit. For example, in China, in Vietnam, and Cambodia, we're working with local communities to help to build and support schools there. We're doing similar things in Egypt. So these are things that you're going to be able to participate in when we are traveling through some of those countries. And we also bring on some great lectures because I know, like me, I like to learn. I like to be prepared when I get off in a port of call. So we have people who talk about the art, the history, the culture, the current affairs, and a lot of that you can explore prior to departure as well. And our onboard team will take you, can also help you with individual needs, or if there's a special market or a restaurant or something you want to see, they can help you with that as well by personalizing your journey. Now, we like to say that we take you to explore the Viking way. And maybe you're like me. Maybe you love to peek in people's houses. Maybe you like to go to the market. Maybe you like to cook. I tend to graze my way across countries because I do love to cook. And I also love to learn how to cook. I like to go to the markets. And if I can meet the people, even better. So we do have that experience through our local life program, which gives you insight into how people really live. Our working world experience gives you an opportunity to see how the economy works. And so that might mean um, going to visit the BMW or the Mercedes factory. If you're a car lover, that might be something. Maybe you want to learn about cognac. And then privileged access takes you behind the scenes to introduce you to experiences that you can't buy. These are special things. So here's a few examples. In Cologne, you might want to try the brew house dinner experience. One of my favorite things to do, and I'll share a little bit of that when I go. Maybe you want to try a local life experience in Budapest and try one of the therapeutic spas. That's where spas were invented. So, or really where they originated from with the waters, the healthy waters there. You might want to learn about the vintages, the fine wines of the Wachau Valley in Austria. Or maybe you want to go and visit a cheese farm in the Netherlands and see how cheese is produced from milking the cows all the way through to the mail order program with the cheese. And then maybe you'd like to meet the Viennese Boys Choir. If you're a music fan, that's something that I really enjoyed. And we do have access, special privileged access to meet the boys in their residence and be able to chat with them and also sit in on a little concert as well. So what do we include? Well, we include a short excursion each port of call. We include your meals, of course. We're not going to make you cook. We also have multiple dining venues, including our Aquavit Terrace and Lounge, which is a relaxed alfresco style dining experience. And we also have our more formal dining room, which offers plated as well as, well, maybe not so much buffet service at this time, but we've always done plated service as well. We include beer, wine, and soft drinks with lunch and with dinner. On our river ships, we also include sparkling wine. So if you'd like to start with a mimosa, you can do that as well. We also include specialty coffee and tea bar that's available 24 hours a day. And that also includes local snacks. So if you want to try local pastries or some of the other cookies and things that come from that area, we'll have those available for you as well. Bottled water and Wi-Fi are also included. And we use beautiful 5-star and 4-star hotels for our pre and post and overnight stays. The in-room entertainment system is included, and you don't have to look for fine print to find extra charges. What you see is what you get with Viking. We don't believe in nickel and diming. So what don't we include? Well, as I mentioned, we don't want to charge you for things you're not going to use. So because a lot of our guests are off the ship throughout the day, we don't have all-inclusive alcohol, because it would be a waste. You're going to be charged for it, but you're not going to be drinking it. And we don't think that everybody wants to pay for people who are when they're not indulging. So we do have a no corkage policy, which means you can bring on local wine or beer or duty free with you. There's no fee and there's no limit, and there's no limit to where you can take it on the ship. So you don't have to smuggle the gin or the vodka in the water bottles, which I know we've been guilty of, all of us, maybe some of you as well. And we also have a beverage package. If you'd like to add that in and create an all-inclusive, you can do that in a prepaid step before you depart. We don't include optional tours as well. Now, we include a tour in each port of call, as I mentioned, and those will cover kind of the overview. So you will see all the highlights of every destination that we visit, and if you just do those, you will come away with a great experience. But if you like to dig a little deeper, maybe you would like to try some of those Viking Way experiences, you can do that. They do have an extra charge, but it's because they are smaller and more curated and in some cases more limited. And so those are available for special interests and it allows everybody to find what they really want to do rather than everybody being channeled into one direction. We also don't include gratuities. Gratuities are discretionary, and we do apply them to the onboard account, and that's because we often have an incentive with a shipboard credit, which we do have an offer for you tonight, and that can be used to prepay gratuities prior to departure. So that's why we do it. If you want to make adjustments once you get on board, by all means, we're not forcing you to do it. We're just trying to make things simple and keep it easy for you, so you don't have to take your wallet out when you get to the destination. You can just relax and not get any surprises at the end of your trip, unless, of course, you've been shopping. So this is our beautiful hotels. This is our long ships. This is the standard ships that you'll see sailing with Viking all along the rivers. And you can see the beautiful floor-to-ceiling windows. You can see the aquavit terrace at the bow of the ship. This is patented and is something unique to our ships. We also have lots and lots of outer deck space. So I thought you might enjoy
it. Elegant, but exceptionally comfortable. The Viking fleet is the river cruise industry's newest and most innovative. On board, an abundance of space welcomes you. The top deck is open and uncrowded with 360-degree views. Inside, signature Scandinavian decor is found throughout. The lounge and bar are open and inviting. The dining rooms, intimate. The well-stocked library, ideal for a quiet moment. Our complimentary onboard Wi-Fi service makes staying in touch with family and friends easier than ever. And with panoramic windows throughout, you won't miss a moment of the stunning scenery.
The Viking cruise is top-notch. It's very good, very relaxing.
Your stateroom is the perfect place to unwind. Spacious and inviting, it comes complete with hotel-style beds, shower and complimentary premium bath products, in-room safe, climate control, refrigerator and complimentary bottled water. French balconies, large windows or spacious verandas keep you in close touch with the world around you.
It is absolutely beautiful.
Fantastic, in a word.
In Europe, the impressive Viking longships introduced new concepts to river cruising, including the aquavit terrace, which combines the comfort of the lounge with the invigorating fresh air of an outside dining area. Stateroom choices are abundant, with the option of full two-room suites, plus our spacious Explorer suites, the largest of any river cruise line in Europe. On the Elbe River, the Viking Bela and Viking Astrid incorporate key longship features, including the aquavit terrace. Portugal's Viking Torgil, Viking Hemming, and the new Viking Osfrid also reflect the spirit and spaciousness of the Viking longships. In Russia, our completely refurbished ships offer suites, junior suites, and veranda staterooms fleet-wide. In China, cruise the Yangtze River on the Viking Emerald, a beautiful state-of-the-art river cruise vessel complete with veranda staterooms and spacious suites. And in Southeast Asia, sail on board the stylish and exceptionally comfortable Viking Mekong. No matter where your voyage takes you, you're sure to enjoy the warmth and comfort of our Viking ships.
We are not big boat cruise people. We really like the smaller atmosphere. We like the smaller boat, so this has been very nice for us.
Come experience the ships of Viking for yourself and discover why our guests call them a home away from home.
So send me a quick.
You're supposed to be seeing something right now.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Oh my gosh. Sorry.
That's okay. I was just still stuck in Budapest there for a little bit.
Yeah, no, I'm so sorry. Here we are. We're back. So I was just showing that we are looking at a map, and this map is taking us along the Rhine, up over the Danube, Rhine-Danube Canal system, which goes up over the Continental Divide by about 40 to 60 locks. And then it connects with the Danube. It takes you all the way down to the Black Sea. Now, we actually have a cruise that is 23 days in 8 countries that'll take you the whole way if you would like. But if you want to break it up into smaller pieces, you can. You can do just the lower part of the of the Danube. You can do the central part of the Danube. You can travel through the Main-Danube Canal system, or you can go from Amsterdam down to Switzerland. We also go to Portugal, to France, to Russia, Ukraine, Vietnam, Cambodia, and Egypt. So if any of those are on your bucket list, we've got river cruising that will take you there. So a lot of people are wondering, okay, so where should I go on a first-time cruiser? What cruise line, what itinerary should I be looking at? And that's where your Fareconnection travel advisor comes in as well. But these are the 3 that we recommend. If you're looking for a shorter cruise, 8-day, the Rhine Getaway, the Romantic Danube, or the Grand European Tour. Personally, for first-time cruisers, if you're a little bit worried, as I was when I went on my first cruise, I wasn't sure if I was going to if I was going to, 15 days was going to be too long. So I booked myself an 8-day. But what I learned after 2 days on board is that I wanted to stay longer. I actually tried to stay longer, and there was no space for the next cruise, so I had to get off, unfortunately. So, but if you're a first-time cruiser, the Rhine Getaway, Amsterdam to Basel is a great experience, and you can add pre and post onto either side. You can also, with this one, it gives you 4 countries, 4 different cultures, 4 different languages, and really 4 different experiences. The romantic Danube takes you from Budapest to Regensburg and down through the lower part of the Danube. But the most popular one is the Grand European, which is the one that I'm going to talk about and just share a few of the highlights with you. This one is, and I know Cindy, this is the one that you love. This one takes you really through the heart of Europe. And even if you've never been on a river cruise, or you have been on a river, you've traveled extensively in Europe as I have, what I always find is that you go from one big city to another big city. You don't often stop in between, especially if you have a limited amount of time. So what I love about this is it takes us into some of those smaller, more unique ports of call. And that allows us to experience some of the iconic cities, some of the medieval cities, the castles, the palaces, and try the wine, the beer, the bratwurst, and all the other goodies that go with it. So let's take a quick look at some of the itineraries, or some of the ports of call. Our first stop is Amsterdam. This is an embarkation or disembarkation site, and this is a place where you can, I really recommend staying a little bit longer. If you can, come in early, stay a little bit longer. It's a city that has so much to offer. It's built on these beautiful canals, so you can walk the canals, you can take a river boat along the canals, but please be careful because there are more bikes than automobiles in the city of Amsterdam, and you have to kind of pay attention or you'll get run down. But you've got those beautiful merchant houses that you see there, and it has more museums per square mile than any other city in the world. So if you're an art lover, you can go to the Rijksmuseum, the Van Gogh Museum. If you're interested in history, you can go to the Anne Frank house, where that family was hidden and she wrote her diary. It's a very moving experience. And I recommend that if you are going to do that, talk to your advisor because they can get you front of the line tickets, which is really worthwhile, especially if you don't have a lot of time in Amsterdam. There is a chocolate museum, a maritime museum, there's a music museum. So there's a little something for everybody. And if you don't have time, one of the other things you will be able to do when you arrive in the afternoon is that we dock right in the heart of the city, right near the central train station. So you're about 5 minutes walk to the old center of Amsterdam. And once dinner is completed, our program director will take people out on a walk to stretch their legs, and he'll take you on a little bit of a tour through the old part of the city, and you can get a chance to see some of these houses, see the city lit up. He usually takes a little stroll through the red light district, so you can get a little spice, and you can just enjoy this beautiful city, even if you don't have extra time. From there, we're going to sail through Holland. We're going to stop in Cologne, and Cologne is one of the, I think it's the 3rd largest city in Germany, and it's recognized for this beautiful cathedral called the Dome. Now, this is a cathedral, one of the largest Gothic and oldest Gothic cathedrals in Europe. It's over 1,000 years old. And it is one of the few buildings in Cologne that wasn't damaged by the Allied bombing in the Second World War. A lot of the rest of the city has been rebuilt, including where we dock. Now, you see where that small boat is? That is where we dock, right there. So when you step off, you're almost right in the heart of the city. It's 5 minutes walk up to the square that surrounds the cathedral. And that's where our walking tours will go. We'll be stepping off and meeting our local guides. They will walk us through the old city. You'll see some of the Roman ruins. You will get a chance to go into the cathedral. If you're not afraid of heights, we have a privileged access experience that will take you up on the outside elevator all the way up into the ceiling and the roof of the castle of the cathedral and out onto the roof where the gargoyles are. So it's a very small group that gets to do that, but if that's something that you would like to do, you certainly can. This is also a great city for shopping. It's known for a variety of different things. Obviously, wine is very popular in this area because it is a wine growing area. And one of the advantages of river cruising is that we don't have to rush off at 4 and 5 o'clock in the afternoon. We can stay late, and here we stay until about 2 in the morning, and that gives us a chance to do a pub crawl, or you can go off and explore on your own if you like in the evening. We also have an optional tour that will give you a chance to go and enjoy the pub crawl and a dinner. So you can try some of the local Kolsch beer as well. And ladies, this city is known for something that we use almost every single day. They say that perfume was invented, and you can check out the Farina building with the history of the famous perfume 4711, and you can learn about the history and the story of that as well. So great city for exploring, and between us, it's my favorite shoe shopping city as well. As we move along, we will travel through the World UNESCO Heritage Site, which is the Middle Rhine. And here there are 40 castles that dot the hillsides and the vineyards and the islands of the Rhine. So you'll get a chance to sail through here in the daylight hours. Now, a lot of people ask me, do we cruise in the daytime? Do we cruise at night? We do want you to spend as much possible time as possible in the ports of call. So we often arrive early, sometimes 5 in the morning, and we don't sail till later. But if we are going through some scenic areas, we'll do those during the daylight hours so you can see the best of everything. We often travel at night because we're going through industrial areas, and we're going through all those locks, which are not very picturesque. It's more like riding an elevator every 20 minutes. So we try and get rid of those at night. From there, one of the other stops that we're going to visit is Passau. Passau is the last city before you cross into Austria. It actually sits in the middle of 3 rivers, the Ill, the Inns, and the Danube. And this is where they say if you get up high on the hillsides on the opposite side of the bay and look down, you will see the 3 colors of the rivers, and people often say this is where they see the blue Danube. So you can check that out. Also, if you're interested, this is where they track the high water levels over the centuries. And in 2013, the water levels were over 50 feet higher than normal. A lot of those buildings were all about up to the second story of windows was underwater, and that is marked on the city hall, so you can check that out when you're there. Passau also is a lovely spot because of the cathedrals. One of the cathedrals houses the largest pipe organ in Western Europe, and we have a lovely concert there, so you can try that out. But there's lots to see in Passau. When I was last there, I went on a bike tour. I see somebody's asking me about bicycles. Bicycles are not, we don't carry bicycles on board, but we do work with local operators. And I was able to go on a biking tour here that took us into the national park along one side of the river, and then we crossed the bridge into Austria and came back down through Austria. So it was really fun. These are optional tours in small groups, but we prefer to work with local suppliers that we know are insured, they've got guides, and their equipment is at the best of the best quality. There's helmets, so those are available for those who want to do it, and it's reasonable and it's just really fun. You'll also find bikes, those sort of rent-a-bikes that we have in many of our cities as well during the summer months, but we've opted not to because we found not a lot of people are using them. So it's better to offer a better experience for those who really are interested with better quality equipment, including e-bikes, for those that are interested. Now, one of my all-time favorite cities is Vienna. Vienna is a city that is reminiscent of Paris, but a lot smaller and a little bit friendlier. What we're looking at here is the Hofburg Palace. This is part of the palace structure that spans about 6 blocks. It was the headquarters or the home of the Austro-Hungarian Empire for over seven centuries. So there's a variety of architectural styles here. It's no longer the home of the aristocracy. It is now the home of many beautiful art galleries and museums, but it's also the home of the Lippizan Stallions and the Viennese Boys Choirs. So you can check all of those out while you're here in Vienna. In addition to that, it is a city infused with music and great foods. You can try, you can go to an optional concert and listen to Strauss and Mozart. You can also go and check out the coffee houses and try the strudel and the whipped cream and the coffee and the Wiener Schnitzel while you're here. Fantastic experience and one of my favorite places in Vienna. And on this itinerary, we stay 2 days, so you have plenty of time to see and do as many things as you would like. And then we end up in Budapest. And Budapest, again, is one of those beautiful cities that has really evolved from the communist patina to this beautiful, clean, white city. And it's got so much to offer. Here we're looking at the Parliament buildings. We dock very close here, and we step off our ship and we're right in the middle of the old city of Budapest. And you can walk very easily within 5 to 10 minutes to the covered market. You can walk across the chain bridge where we dock and to the Buda Castle in the Castle District. And you'll get a chance here to do the tours. And then you can even go shopping with our chef, and he's going to pick up a whole Hungarian dinner. And you'll be able to enjoy that on your last night. So if you're a wine lover, we have some itineraries you might enjoy as well. Chateaus, Rivers, and Wines through Bordeaux, Lyon, and Provence that take you into Beaujolais and Burgundy, Paris to the Swiss Alps and City of Lights, which takes you through the Moselle wine growing area, as well as Alsace-Lorraine in the southern, that runs along the border between Germany and France near Strasbourg. And we also have Portugal, which is known for the port. So I thought I'd share just a couple of highlights on Chateaus, Rivers, and Wines, which is Bordeaux. So if you are you're a wine lover, or you're a chef or a wannabe chef, as many of us are these days, this is a fantastic itinerary. And you can do an extension that takes you up to the Loire Valley as well, where you can try some of the white and the rosé wines from the central part of France. But here we overnight in Bordeaux at the beginning, and we overnight in Bordeaux at the end. So you get time to really explore this beautiful city, which is a culinary capital. And you're looking at some beautiful buildings, as well as great wines. There's actually, if you're interested, you can go to the École de Vin, or the wine school, and you can try all of the wines for a very low price. You can try all the wines from the entire Bordeaux region there, and they have little plates that you can have with charcuterie and cheese and chocolate to go with your wine. So it's a really wonderful place to spend a little time when you're in Bordeaux. We also visit places like Libourne and Saint-Emilion. You might recognize that as a really great red wine. And if you're interested, you can go truffle hunting with the truffle farmer and his dog, and enjoy a lunch of truffles as well on this particular itinerary. And then we also do some wine tasting dinners or wine tasting opportunities, where you can go to the vineyard, you can try the wine, and you can also enjoy a lunch and chat with the people who own the chateaus in this area. Or maybe you're like me and you love brandy, and you'd love to go to Cognac and learn about the brandy industry. And here we work with one of the last of the private distilleries called Camus. You might recognize that name. And we can take our guests there. They can work with the sommelier. They can learn all about the blending of brandies, and they get to taste the myriad of choices, and they can create their own personal blend, and they can bottle it and bring it home with them, which I did, and it was really amazing to do that. It was such a great experience. And then back to Bordeaux, where you can go shopping at the market. You can go to the seaside, to Arcachon, which is famous for the oysters. So lots of great things here in France. But Lyon-Provence takes you into Beaujolais and Burgundy, Lyon being a capital, culinary capital. And then you also travel through Provence. And here you're going to see a lot of the old Roman ruins that still stand today, including a 30,000 seat Colosseum in Arles that's still being used to this day. So fantastic places there. And then in Portugal, it's all about the port wine. This is the first wine appellation. It's the first place where wine was protected as a region up in the Douro Valley. So we'll start off in Lisbon overnight and do tours, and then we'll travel by coach to Porto. We'll make a stop in Coimbra, which is a really fantastic university city and the inspiration for J.K. Rowling's series Harry Potter. So all of the the warthogs? I can't remember, but the university and the cloaks that they wear come from the University of Coimbra. And then we go up and we sail along the Douro River, so you can go to Regua, you can check out Matus. Anybody grew up drinking Matus when you were a teenager or in early 20s, you can actually visit the Matus Palace. So great things to there and learn and try some of the great wines. And then for history enthusiasts, we have lots to offer you as well. Paris in the heart of Normandy. This takes you through, so you'll get a chance from Paris. Paris itself is an amazing museum of its own. And from there, you'll travel up the Seine River to Rouen, which is the home of Joan of Arc, and then on to the Normandy beaches. We also have a stop in Eastern Europe and Waterways of the Tsars. So here's the Paris and Normandy itinerary. You can see we dock right near the Eiffel Tower with our ships. You can walk within about 10 minutes from where we dock to the Eiffel Tower. And then we'll visit some of the amazing sites along the Normandy beaches. As Canadians, you can go with the Commonwealth Tour, which takes you to Juno Beach and a memorial there for the Canadians, as well as to Courcelles, which is one of the cemeteries for our fallen. It's really a very amazing experience. And then Eastern Europe, if you're interested in the Eastern Bloc, maybe you want to know a little bit about the communist era, maybe you want to go even further back to the Ottoman period. This is a really fantastic area to explore. It's a little bit less developed than Western Europe, but it's a really nice extension for those of you that have already done the Grand European to add this on and do that lower Danube Delta. There's beautiful scenery, and it really has got a lot of interesting history that's quite different from Western Europe. And then one of my favorite places is Waterways of the Tsars in Russia. Nobody does it better than Viking. We started there. That's where, and we are the only company that still owns ships there and operates. We're the only ones who's been able to. And what I love about this is that you spend 3.5 days in Moscow, 3.5 days in St. Petersburg, and then you travel through the rural part of Russia where you really get the sense of the history and you get to meet the people and see what it's really, truly like to live in Russia. So it's a wonderful, wonderful trip. I always say to people, going on a river cruise in Russia is like, is so different from a Baltic cruise. When you take a Baltic cruise, you have about a day and a half in St. Petersburg. It's like going to the chocolate shop and only being able to stand outside and look in the window and admire the chocolates. Whereas when you go on a river cruise, you get to go into the shop and try every single piece. So it just gives you that more immersive, in-depth experience. So I want to just wrap up with some Hogwarts. Thank you, Donna. I just popped up and saw her note. And I wanted to just wrap up with a couple of offers. Now, I know not everybody's ready to go yet. I know there's some people that are still feeling a little concerned about where we are in the world and about travel. But I also wanted to give you an opportunity for those who are ready to maybe have something to look forward to, right? Maybe you're like me. I'm dying to book something just because I want something to look forward to. I don't want to be sitting and feeling like I'm in limbo. So if you're one of those people, we have a risk-free guarantee program, which means you can book and you can do it in confidence. So this is available till the end of this month, and then there will be another one coming up in March, but it's going to be slightly changed. So if you're interested and you've got something in mind, talk to your advisor now and take advantage of this offer. What this allows you to do is to cancel for any reason up to 24 hours prior to departure. So if you're booking for 2023, that means even into 2023. And your cancellation fees will be returned to you as a voucher for future travel. It'd be good for 24 months, and you can to pick a new tour. So if you want more details about this, please talk to your travel advisor, and they'll be able to fill you in on some of the details. Also, we do have some incredible free air promotions right now. These are running till the end of the month. I'm hoping that they're going to be extended. We won't know till Monday. So this, we offer free air, which is a huge savings, up to $2,200. And honestly, guys, with the amount of money that's being lost in the travel industry, with the airlines, with the cruise lines, etc., I'm really certain with reduced capacity and reduced routes that pricing is going to start to creep up. I'm seeing it even in local travel. So this is a really great offer. It was costing about $2,000 per person to get to Europe. So that's a huge savings. So we have it on our Grand European Tour, which is the 15-day Amsterdam to Budapest. The European Sojourn is the 23-day that goes from Amsterdam all the way to Bucharest. So it puts Grand European together with that Eastern European itinerary I talked about, and Waterways of the Tsars. That air ticket alone cost me $2,200, and that was per person, and that was quite a few years ago. So this is a really great savings. So if you are thinking about booking something so that you have something to look forward to and you start to count the sleeps, this is a really great offer. So talk to your advisor and they'll be able to give you more details. It's done by itineraries, so you're going to have to check on dates and things. And finally, just because you've joined me tonight, and I appreciate that, we have a $100 per person shipboard credit that is good towards prepaid gratuities, optional tours, beverage package for you to use towards those either before you go or once you're on board. And this is valid for 2022 and 2023 new river and ocean cruise bookings. And that's good for 2 weeks from today, 25th of February through to March 11th. It's not applicable to our expedition or our Mississippi or our Southeast Asia cruises or Egypt, I'm sorry. But it is available on all of our European river cruises that I've talked about tonight. And if you're interested in any of our ocean cruises, that is available for you as well. So I am at a point now where I'm happy to answer any questions. Cindy, if you'd like to join me again, perhaps there are some questions that people have that I haven't addressed, but I do thank you for your patience. Thank you for sending me notes to tell me my screen wasn't operating. And I'm glad you caught me on that. Sometimes when I'm switching between videos, I think I've hit the right button, but sometimes it doesn't pop up. So I really appreciate that. And we can go forward. So what I'm going to do is say thank you to everybody, and I'm going to come back and answer questions, but I'm going to turn off the recording. So for those who may want to stay for questions, please do. Thank you to all of those who have other things to do. I appreciate that you joined us, and Cindy, I'm sure you do, and then we can come back and answer some questions.
No, I really appreciate everything you've done. This is lovely because it's exactly what river cruising is. Just reminds me going through Budapest and Vienna. You're bang on Vienna. I love Vienna. I know it's going to sound weird. We're in the middle of winter now, but I absolutely love the Christmas markets. That's just amazing. It doesn't matter the time of year you river cruise. Your experience is wonderful. And especially in Passau, just seeing the church there, that's the monastery. That's a microbrewery, isn't it? Was that the picture of the?
Yes.
Okay, I was there. Yep. Yeah. So it really does. Like, I loved when we river cruised, and just for all of you to know is, like, you go do your tour in the morning, you come back and have a lovely lunch, and then you have the whole afternoon and evening to explore on your own because, you know, you have the transportation, you have your feet, or you have a transportation bus to take you into town. So that's a really big bonus because you're not exhausted from touring around. You're at your own pace, and it's how you do it.
Yeah, I have to agree with you about the Christmas markets. They really are fantastic.
Goodness.
Now, I do have a couple of questions, so I thought maybe I will answer them now because a lot of guests,
absolutely,
they're common questions. So I'm just going to take a quick look right now, and then we'll leave the recording on. I can always edit it, but I think it might be helpful for some of your clients as we go through. So 1 second while I just make this a little bit so I can read them. 1 second. Because I'm seeing some information about kids cruising. And one thing I didn't mention, and I should have, is that Viking is an adult focused cruise. We have we don't take children under 18. We know that you love your grandkids, and we know you love your kids, but not everybody loves traveling with other people's kids. So we have really listened to what our clients have to say, and we have really focused this onto adult focused, 18 or 19 and above. So it is. There are other lines that do take children, but for the most part, because this is a very historic, or we don't have video games and all those things on board. So it's not as exciting for kids, even if they are big travelers. So that's the case there. So somebody asked me, I did talk about bicycles. Let's see. Good. Well, that looks like it. I don't see any other. Oh, somebody asked me about dietary.
Yeah, dietary.
Yeah, the dietary. So if you do have certain dietary needs, we can handle most of those. We can't. We can do it on anything that we've got 100% control over. So it's harder to do it in China. It's harder to do it in Vietnam and Egypt, but we can handle it in Russia and in Europe. So if you do have special dietary needs, please contact your travel advisor, and that allows us to let our team know in advance what kinds of things we're dealing with. But I've noted, I have talked to guests who have celiac disease, that are gluten-free, and they back and just raved about how well they were looked after. Our staff, our team, our chef and our maitre d' will sit down with you at the beginning of each day. They'll go through the menu. And one of them was even telling me that they were at one of the buffets and some of the staff came running up to her and said, no, 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 you can't eat that. Because they were so worried that she was going to have something. And that's the beauty of a small ship, is that they really do get to know you very, very quickly. And they become very much a part of the life that we have on board the ship. So I think rather than institutional cooking that we do on large ships, this is a way for us to do a little bit more a la minute and be able to customize just that little bit more.
Totally. Well, first of all, again, I'd like to thank you for doing this evening, and thank all the attendees, the agents with their clients, and you know how to get a hold of your Fareconnect agent. So again, it's very informative, and that grand tour right now is selling like hotcakes for 15 days with the free air. And you mentioned out of Winnipeg, but it is out of all the Canadian cities, correct?
Yes, it is 12 Canadian cities. So depending on where you are, I realized that we had something from Saskatchewan. So we do have Regina. I think Regina is one of the options right now, and possibly Saskatoon. So we just have to check that, because one of the challenges we have right now is that the airlines are pulling flights. So we are going to have to wait to see what comes back in. But we have had 12 cities, including Regina, Saskatoon, Calgary, Edmonton, Vancouver, even Victoria, as well as Winnipeg from the west, and then Ottawa, Montreal, and some of the other cities as well. But again, we're going to have to wait and see when the dust clears
Absolutely.
And hopefully it all comes back. So
that's great that you have 2023 out on the books, which is fantastic. People are booking up. I know they are. So I really wanted to get this out to the clients and the agents to know that, you know, Viking is a great choice with this offer, and it's free to hold a quote. That's what I like about it. And there's no commitment until they decide what they want to do. That's lovely.
Yeah, and even then, our deposits are $500 per person, and they are fully refundable, less the penalty of $100 per person, up to 4 months prior to departure.
Great.
So we do have final payments coming up a little bit earlier, simply because things are filling up. And you were absolutely right. What we're seeing now is the upper categories for 2022 on our sailing, so the balconies. If you're interested in a balcony on the Grand European for 2022 or 2023, it's really good to start thinking about it now, because those fill up fast, and a lot of our guests who have had what I call bucket list backup, the ones with future cruise vouchers that couldn't go last year and now can't go May this year, have used those vouchers to upgrade their staterooms. And what we're seeing is that a lot have gone. So I know it's a long ways off, but now is the time to be planning. And I think now's the time to be dreaming. So if you feel comfortable, do it. If you don't, then just dream for now and keep in touch with your advisor. And we look forward to having you on board.
That's awesome. Well, thank you. And thank you, everybody, for coming. It's very much appreciated.
Have a good night, everybody.